Did you know that decapitation might not mean instant death? The concept of death has fascinated humans for centuries. From ancient rituals to modern horror films, death is both feared and revered. No method of execution is as striking and unsettling as decapitation. The thought of it evokes images of medieval times and public executions. The swift severing of the head from the body, the image of the severed head, forever frozen in a final expression, ignites a primal fear. It's a universal dread of the unknown. Yet alongside this fear lies a morbid curiosity. We are drawn to the macabre, to the mysteries at the edge of life and death. How long does awareness linger after the guillotine falls? This question has sparked debates and scientific inquiries for centuries. Can a severed head still think, see, or feel, even for a moment? The idea is both horrifying and fascinating, challenging our understanding of life and consciousness. This fascination with decapitation is not new. It has existed for as long as beheading itself. Throughout history, people have been captivated by the notion of a head retaining awareness after decapitation. Ancient myths and folklore are filled with tales of talking heads, their disembodied voices whispering secrets from the grave. These stories reflect our deep-seated fears and curiosities. These stories, while fantastical, hint at a deeper question that continues to intrigue scientists and philosophers alike. What is the nature of consciousness, and does it truly cease the instant the brain is separated from the body? This question remains one of the most profound mysteries of the human experience. The year is 1793. France is engulfed in the throes of the French Revolution, a violent struggle for liberty and equality. The streets are filled with the cries of the oppressed, demanding justice and the downfall of the old regime. The air is thick with tension, as the nation teeters on the brink of chaos. Amidst the chaos, a young woman named Charlotte Corday becomes a pivotal figure, embodying both the revolutionary spirit and the enduring mystery surrounding death by decapitation. Corday, with her resolute gaze and unwavering determination, stands as a symbol of both hope and tragedy in these turbulent times. A fervent believer in the revolution's ideals, Corday was horrified by the escalating violence and the reign of terror that had gripped the nation. The streets, once filled with the promise of change, now ran red with the blood of countless innocents. The revolution, in her eyes, had lost its way. She saw journalist and politician Jean-Paul Marat, a radical voice inciting violence and bloodshed, as a threat to the revolution's true goals. Marat's inflammatory writings and speeches had turned the revolution into a bloodbath, and Corday believed that his death was the only way to restore sanity and order. Driven by her convictions, Corday took the drastic step of assassinating Marat, stabbing him to death in his bathtub. This act, both shocking and calculated, was meant to be a turning point, a desperate attempt to steer the revolution back to its righteous path. Her act of defiance, while shocking, was seen by some as a necessary evil to halt the spiraling bloodshed. To others it was a heinous crime, an unforgivable act of murder that only added to the chaos. The nation was divided and Corday's fate was sealed. However, her bravery came at a steep price. Corday was swiftly apprehended and imprisoned, her dreams of a better future slipping away as the cold walls of her cell closed in around her. Corday was swiftly apprehended and sentenced to death by the very instrument that had become synonymous with the revolution itself, the guillotine. The guillotine, a symbol of both justice and terror, awaited her, its blade ready to claim yet another life in the name of the revolution. Corday's execution on July 17, 1793, became a spectacle that captivated and horrified onlookers alike. The crowd gathered, their faces a mix of curiosity, fear, and morbid fascination, as they awaited the fall of the blade. Accounts differ, but some witnesses claimed that after her head fell into the basket, a faint blush colored her cheeks when the executioner slapped her face. This eerie detail, whether true or imagined, added a layer of macabre intrigue to her already tragic story. This chilling anecdote, whether grounded in reality or embellished over time, fueled speculation about the possibility of lingering consciousness after decapitation. The idea that a person could remain aware even for a few moments after such a violent end haunted the imaginations of many. Was Corday's supposed blush a reflex action? Or could it be interpreted as a sign of awareness, a flicker of life persisting beyond the moment of death? This question, lingering in the minds of those who witnessed her execution, has sparked endless debate and fascination. This question, sparked by the events of the French Revolution, and fueled by historical accounts like Corday's execution, continues to intrigue us today. The story of Charlotte Corday, her life, her actions, and her death, remains a poignant reminder of the complexities and contradictions of revolutionary fervor. Decapitation is, in its simplest terms, a traumatic brain injury, the most severe one imaginable. It is a sudden and violent event that results in the complete severing of the head from the body, leading to an immediate and catastrophic disruption of all bodily functions. The sudden and complete severing of the spinal cord from the brainstem results in a cascade of physiological events that lead to rapid death. This severing cuts off all communication between the brain and the rest of the body, causing an immediate and irreversible shutdown of all bodily functions. Blood pressure plummets, depriving the brain of oxygen-rich blood, the lifeblood that fuels its intricate workings. Without this vital supply, the brain's cells begin to die within minutes, leading to a rapid loss of consciousness and ultimately, death. Neurons, the fundamental units of the nervous system responsible for transmitting information throughout the body, cease to function without a constant supply of oxygen and glucose. These cells are incredibly sensitive to changes in their environment, and even a brief interruption in their supply of nutrients can cause them to die. The brain, starved of the essential elements needed for its survival, enters a state of chaotic electrical activity. This chaotic activity is a desperate attempt by the brain to maintain some semblance of function, but it is ultimately futile. This surge of uncontrolled electrical impulses, much like a power surge that overloads a circuit, further disrupts the brain's delicate balance. The brain's intricate network of neurons becomes overwhelmed, leading to a rapid and irreversible shutdown of all brain functions. Within seconds, the organized electrical activity that defines consciousness, our thoughts, perceptions, and sensations, collapses, plunging into the abyss of unconsciousness. This loss of consciousness is swift and irreversible, leading to a rapid and complete shutdown of all brain functions. While the cessation of blood flow and the ensuing oxygen deprivation are the primary drivers of death following decapitation, other factors contribute to the rapid demise of the brain. These factors include the sudden and massive loss of blood pressure, which can lead to a phenomenon known as cerebral herniation. The sudden and massive loss of blood pressure can lead to a phenomenon known as cerebral herniation, where the brain tissue is forced out of its normal position within the skull. This displacement further damages delicate brain structures, compounding the already catastrophic injury. The brain's delicate tissues are not designed to withstand such extreme forces, and the resulting damage is both severe and irreversible. In essence, decapitation triggers a rapid and irreversible shutdown of the brain's essential functions, leading to a swift loss of consciousness and, ultimately, death. The brain's intricate network of neurons and other cells is unable to recover from such a catastrophic injury, leading to a rapid and complete shutdown of all brain functions. However, the question remains, how long does this process take, and is there any possibility, however slim, that some flicker of awareness might persist in those fleeting moments after the blade falls? This question has fascinated and horrified scientists and lay people alike for centuries, and the answer remains elusive.